Om Khandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darsidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanam Shalakaya Chakshuramiditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Parabrahm Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. First of all, thank you very much, all friends from Melbourne, for welcoming me here to speak to you today. This is my first trip to Australia. I've been wandering all over the world, but somehow not come to Australia. So here I am. And the subject given to me today is, I didn't decide the subject, of course, but once it was decided, I said, okay. So Sharad Limaya is responsible, I think, to pull me in here to Melbourne. Thank you. So English is okay, right? Hindi mein to nahi chalega. There are many people who don't speak Hindi. Marathi I can't speak. So the subject is the meaning of Om Namah Shivaya. Now this is a tall order, because once, there was a person called Ranga Avaduta. Somebody asked him, can you tell me the meaning of Om? And he said, you're asking the impossible. So it's not really so easy to grasp in words what is infinite. What cannot be expressed in words, we are trying to grasp in words. Fortunately, according to the Upanishads, and also according to the experience of great sages, the sound Om has been a good link to that which is inexpressible, an audible link to the inexpressible, if I may say so. I'm not playing on words, it is a fact. Also my experience. In the great Upanishads, we won't go into the Upanishads because then we'll have 5 Satsangs on the Upanishads. In the Upanishads, the Mandukya Upanishad, and also in the Mundaka Upanishad, when the student asks the teacher, now you have kind of theoretically explained the supreme reality, called the Brahman. What's the way to touch it? Because it seems from your description that it's kind of not reachable to the 5 senses, and we have only 5 senses. So the Rishi says, there actually Yama takes over as a teacher in some parts. And he says, yes, there is a sound which can link you to that. And that is the sound of Om. So when you say Om, don't link it to any denomination. It's a pure sound. Let's take it that way. Of course, you can't deny that it has a source which is ancient India, no question. However, it need not be associated with any religion, cult, or anything of that kind. It's a universal sound. This is what I want you to understand. It's a sound. And it's a beautiful link to that which is soundless, which is beyond any understanding of our 5 senses, which is the Panchendriyas. Although the subject today is Om, meaning of Om and Namah Shivaya, I am very happy that in Melbourne you have a temple which is called the Shiva Vishnu temple. Because sometimes people who are Shaivites don't want Vaishnavites, and Vaishnavites don't want Shaivites. It happens. But when you come abroad, you're all together. Wonderful. There is Shiva, Vishnu, everyone here. Good. So anyway, so let's go to the subject. Om. Really, if I go into the complete details of Om, we'll probably have the whole night, whole evening. I'm going to make it as concise as is possible so that it doesn't get also boring. And instead of a high spiritual state, people don't lapse into shushupti, shushupti, deep sleep. So, Om. Now you know the usual interpretation of Om, generally, that it consists of 3 syllables, which is A, U, and Ma. Ma meaning Om. A being the primordial sound, which even the dumb person can utter. A is the basic sound. Alphabet, A. In Sanskrit, A, in Sanskrit there's a beautiful term for alphabet. In English it's called alphabet because it's alpha beta. I think that coffee downstairs was very powerful. Alpha beta, alphabet. But in ancient India, every word that was given had a certain inner meaning. And the alphabet, the first letter onwards, is called Akshara. So when a child learns to read, it's called Akshara Abhyasa, training in alphabets. Now Akshara, if you note carefully, when you add a sound to any word in Sanskrit, any syllable, it becomes the opposite. Chara means that which can be destroyed, destructible. Akshara, indestructible, that which cannot be destroyed. Anything that is created can be destroyed. So which means what? There is something which has never been created, but which always is, which cannot be destroyed. So Akshara is an indication of that, and Om starts with A, the first sound, which takes us into that which is not destructible, which can never be destroyed. Good news is that every one of us has a small spark of that indestructible in us. You can call it Antaryami, Atma, spark, whatever you want to call it. Or the treasure in the heart. There was a Parivrajaka who wandered in the streets of Jerusalem, who said, lay treasures in your heart where thieves do not break in and steal. Read your New Testament if anybody is here. Matthew's. So that's the good news. That indestructible supreme reality is there in every heart as the inner consciousness and witness of all that is happening. It need not be found in a cave. You don't have to change your clothes. You don't have to change your hairstyle. This is because there's a new style. So anyway, so A represents the beginning. Beginning because it is the first sound, basic sound, A. Beginning of all creation, beginning of this world, beginning of the first sound, which is basic. So, in the Hindu system of differentiation of the absolute into different deities, Brahma, the creator, is supposed to be represented by A, which is creation. Now, when you say creation, it not only means this world, material world that we see, it also means our consciousness. The little spark that becomes a human being in the womb. It's the sound, the beginning of all sounds. It's the beginning of everything. So Brahma represents that. And because the corollary to this is, because when we come into this world, we go through a lot of suffering. Of course, there are joys, of course, but there are also sufferings. Every child that comes into this world comes crying, not laughing. No? Have you heard of a child coming, ha ha ha? So, knowing this, they said that this the first sound, which is represented by Brahma, the creator. So there is hardly a temple for Brahma, except in one place in Rajasthan. Anybody? Pushkar. Very rare. So they are worried, this is the guy who created us, Put us in these straits. So anyway, so is the creation of everything. The primordial creation from where the undifferentiated matter gets differentiated into different tattvas, according to Sankhya cosmology. Now, so that's the first, Brahma. Then you have the middle sound, which is U, Om. Now, U is something which we utter with the middle of our tongue, U. And U represents the last syllable of Vishnu, which means once something is created, it needs to be also sustained, nourished, and taken care of. Now, this function goes to the deity called Vishnu or Narayana. The very word Narayana means Ayana. You know what Ayana means? Ayana means a vehicle. What is Ramayana? The vehicle of Rama. So, Ayana and Nara are the deep waters of the primeval world when nothing was differentiated. And the vehicle that floated on it and from which life came, it's also called Hiranyagarbha, is Narayana. So that is the sustainer of all that has been created. This is the symbolism. So it also is the next simplified sound after A. Om. And then you say Om, end. That sound is Ma. Now, the end, when you have to say Om, if you close your mouth, you have to make a new sound, you have to open it again. Because at the moment it's finished. So Om, the last sound, means end of everything. Now, it's not exactly destruction, it's what you call transformation. Because when the old ends, the new begins. Also, when an old thought goes and a new thought replaces it, psychologically. We think that it's all existing parallel, but if you look carefully, thoughts come and go. The past, one thought is gone, another comes, and then it becomes, and then it's gone again. So this ending is represented by the sound of Om. So one cycle of creating, preserving, and destroying is Om. And then when new creation starts, you open your mouth again and start with Om. So it's cyclical. It goes on and on. Nobody sees any end to it. They say when the Manvantara is over, then there is a complete destruction. Mahapralaya it's called. But then again it comes back. Some have even said it's like the Brahma breathing in when everything is over, and then new. So this is usually Om, how we know generally. But there is a deeper meaning to Om. We'll come to Namah Shivaya after that. By the time we finish describing Om, you'll know what is Namah Shivaya. So we come back. We're just left with 5 letters then. So, the other meaning of Om, which is further deeper, psychological, metaphysical, and I would say in some ways also practical, is how to apply Om. That also would come into this. Is beautifully described in this little Upanishad called the Mandukya. You know, the Upanishads are the essence of the Vedas. Vedas are very big. You have the Samhitas, you have the Brahmanas, you have the Aranyakas, and then you have the Upanishads. Now the last part, which is the Upanishad, is the essence of this entire system of Vedas. It goes into the actual understanding of what the Vedas are trying to say through the hymns, through the ceremonies, through the rituals, and so on. Now, among the Upanishads, there are many Upanishads. Among the Upanishads, there are 11 Upanishads which are the major Upanishads. Also from the fact that all great acharyas from Shankara on have commented on them. Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, and after that Vallabha, Nimbarka, there are many acharyas. They have all commented on these. They are the 11 principal Upanishads. Among the 11 principal Upanishads, the smallest one is the Mandukya. It has only 12 verses, no more. And it's this 12-verse Upanishads on which Adi Shankara, many of you are familiar with Adi Shankara. Adi Shankara's Guru, Govinda's Guru, Gaudapada, wrote thousands of pages of commentaries on these 12 verses of the Mandukya, so you can understand. And Shankara wrote another 1,000 on the Karika of Gaudapada. So, the 12 verses of the Mandukya is very interesting. It's called Mandukya because in Sanskrit, Manduk means a frog. Hindi mein this is Menduk. Manduk is a frog. So is there a great rishi called Mandukya who wrote the Upanishad? No. The thing is, it represents a creature which can live on land and also in water and undergoes so many transformations. It's in biology they call it metamorphosis. It starts with a tadpole who lives in water, then it becomes, the tail falls off, and then it becomes a sannyas. And then it's ready to move in water and land and still be alive. Which means a person who has understood the truth and found the meaning of Om is able to live in this material world and also in the spiritual and do it in a perfect order. So Mandukya is a very good, it also means it doesn't matter how the source of knowledge looks like with your eyes. It's the essence that comes out that is important. Though somebody looks like a frog and you don't want to listen to him. Somebody is nice looking and you say, I will listen, he is very important. Maybe because he is good looking, who knows? We don't know. So the idea is that it doesn't matter the source, how it looks, it's the material that is important, that comes out from the teaching that's important. Anyway, let's not go in too much into that. Pages have been written on the word Mandukya, so let's leave it there. Anyway, Mandukya Upanishad, as I said, has 12 verses. None of them say what you should do or what you should not do, or you should live like this or live like that. They just take up something which is common to all human beings and discuss the 3 states of consciousness which we are all kind of aware of. Now here, Om is described as the definition of the states of consciousness through which all of us pass through, all human beings, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikh, everybody has these human beings, Manusha. In fact, that's what M means. Shri M, somebody said Shri M. M means Manusha, human being. Well, it could also mean Madhukarnath, because Babaji named me Madhukarnath because of the Natha Sampradaya, but basically it means Manav, Manusha. So anyway, what did I say? Shushupti has not started yet. What did I say? Yeah.
3 states of consciousness.
Yeah. So the 3 states. So we have, first let's take A. Again it has been divided into A, U and Ma. According to the Mandukya, the sound A represents what is called the Jagrata Avastha, which means the state of wakefulness, which we all know. Right? We're all awake, right? So, Jagrat, the state of wakefulness, which is common to all human beings, even other living beings. Now the U is called Tejasa or Swapnavastha. the dream state of consciousness, which is also common to all of us. I am sure we all dream. Night dream, day dream, many kinds of dreams. I dream to build a kingdom, I dream to make a company. That is the day dream. But there's also the night dream, which is common to all of us. And it's called Tejasa, because in the dream our eyes are closed. There are no electric lights. But we see the dream in full light, right? Unless you're dreaming that you're in a dark room, generally, no. You still see it. So it is self-effulgent, so it's called Tejasa. And this is also a common state of consciousness for all human beings, big or small, man or woman, dark or white. That is O. Now there is something very interesting in the dream state. All of us dream. And as we are so drugged that we don't remember the dream. We all dream. The thing is, when you are dreaming, or when I am dreaming, at that point, we don't know that it's a dream. It's very real. It's only when you wake up that I say, oh, now that was good or bad, depending on the dream. While you're dreaming, somebody, oh, you're dreaming. No, I'm not. It's so real that if a tiger is chasing you, here is not possible. India is still possible. If a tiger is chasing you in the dream, when you wake up, you suddenly realize there is no tiger. But it was so real that your heart is still beating, you're perspiring, and your adrenaline levels are high. Why? Because you actually thought there was a tiger there. When you wake up, of course, it's an illusion. Understand? Now, in higher levels of Vedanta, they ask this question. Interesting, since we are on the subject, let me go into this. There was the great king, Janaka, who was supposed to be the father of Sita. He discovered Sita. Janaka was also called a Raja Rishi, means a wise rishi as well as a king. So one day, Janaka dreamed that he was a beggar, wearing torn clothes, full of wounds, begging for food, no food to eat. Then he woke up and found that he was lying in his luxurious bed in the palace in Videha. His guru was the great sage Yajnavalkya. You find Yajnavalkya in Vedas, in the Upanishads. When Yajnavalkya came to see him, he asked him, "Sir, please make this clear to me. Am I a king or am I a beggar? Really? What if my dream had stretched and I would have remained a beggar?" Question number 2, suppose I think now I'm a king, what if this is also a dream? I can't realize it now because like in the dream I don't know. Is there a waking up from here where I say, oh my God, what a long dream? Please tell me, what is this thing that's going on? So there is a long description, we won't go into that. Discussion is that Yajnavalkya says, in a nutshell, Yajnavalkya says to Janaka, look here, O king, everything is relative on this earth, and even in your consciousness. What is real in one system may not be real in the other. What is real in one state of mind may be not so in the other. So since all the states are relative, they are not therefore absolutely real. But there is one thing which is real, which is the witness which has been seeing you while you're awake, while you're dreaming. There has been a witness watching. That witness is real, but the changes are not so real. So try to figure out who that or what that witness is. Who is this witness? And then you would have found that you have ascended beyond the relative states and come to the absolute. the Sakshi. Okay, so now we have come only up to U. Then Om has in one more syllable, Ma. It's like saying actually. So this M, this Ma, Om, represents another state which is common to all of us, deep sleep, which is called Shushupti. Jagrata, Swapna, Shushupti. And Shushupti is the only time when we really are relaxed. Why? Because we don't know who we are. I mean, temporary identity is not there. There is no outer understanding or recognition. There is no inner understanding or recognition. There is just a mass of consciousness inactive. You don't know. See, the problem begins when I know, or I think I know who I am. I am so and so, so I went there, nobody gave me any respect. In sleep, what does it matter? If somebody throws a tomato, as long as it doesn't wake you up. Who cares? You don't know because you're free. I mean, you have no reactions because you... But when you wake up, especially in that time when you're between sleep and waking up, there's a great bliss. You know, that's why we don't want to wake up. We try to turn around and sleep. I tried that today morning after breakfast. So, why? Because even though at that moment of deep sleep we are not aware, there seems to have been some witness there, which when you wake up says, that was such a blissful sleep. You're not aware at that time, but it's there somewhere in the memory, so that there was some witness. Right? Now that, so the Mandukya Upanishad says, therefore, A, U and Ma represent waking, dream and deep sleep. And what about that witness which is common to all states and which is beyond all states, which is neither born nor does it die, and that is represented by the Ardhamatra. You know, Om has an Ardhamatra at the top with a dot. That is when I say Om. Take some time. When you ring a bell or a gong, when the sound is over but still going on, which means it can't be placed in concrete terms, but nevertheless it's there. You grasp these three and you have touched that. When you see that you have the witness of all these, then you have touched the core. Now, therefore, Om, according to the Mandukya, represents all the states of consciousness and ultimately that witness which is there in all the states and yet not affected by it, which is our true reality and our true essence. That is the good news. It's not just some abstract entity out there, but right here in us also. That's why it's been likened to dream, deep sleep and so on. Well, material objects don't have dream, deep sleep, conscious, nothing. So it applies to us, living beings. So this is Om. When you say Om, now the Mandukya Upanishad goes ahead and says, therefore, O disciple, this is the link that takes you to the supreme reality, the Brahman, the absolute all-pervading reality, which the Ishavasya Upanishad calls Ishavashyamidam Sarvam, that which pervades everything everywhere, which is not absent anywhere, it is present everywhere, again, which is also your inner reality, the witness of everything that goes on, but unaffected by anything that goes on, which is pure bliss. Upanishad says, this Om represents that, and luckily for you, says the teacher, that Om can be audibly used as the arrow. Upanishad says, the Supreme Being, the Brahman, is the target. The target or target, what is correct? Target? Okay. And use the bow of your mind and use the arrow of Om. aim and shoot. No, when you say shoot, don't take it to be a violent act. There are different ways to shoot. And, among the Zen teachers, for instance, we had Rama with the bow. Among the Zen teachers, archery is one of the important aspects of their training in meditation. How is that? The Zen master asked the student who is being trained for archery, okay, put your arrow onto your bow, fix the target, let your eye and the target and the head of the arrow be in one line. Okay, this is the training, practical training. And then pull the bowstring taut as much as you can. So now everything is ready. The bowstring has been pulled, Om is ready out there in the arrowhead. The target is in sight, or at least we think it is in sight. And the bow is taut. Now what happens if I have to hit the target? Do I keep holding the string taut, or do I let go? Everything is okay. Everything is ready. But to hit the target, what happens? I take my finger off and it goes. So ultimately, the whole of spiritual training is to become one-pointed and then finally to let go. So the Upanishad has used the sentence, Tena tyaktena bhunjita. Let go and rejoice. Letting go is not giving up. You don't give up the bow. You let go in the final aspect. Now, this, according to the Mandukya, is the meaning of Om. Now, today's subject is Om Namah Shivaya. Then we have Namah Shivaya. Now, Shiva, the word Shiva, is in Sanskrit, Shivam, is auspiciousness. Auspiciousness, bliss, Ananda. It's actually a substitute word, synonym for Ananda, Shivam. And when Om is connected to that, you know how to experience that Ananda, which is Shivam. And in ancient times, before the figures of Shiva as Shankara were drawn, there was only the linga, the Shivling, which you have here. There's a Shivling. A Shivling represents a single pillar that supports the entire universe. So, Shiva, we are now not talking about the form of Shiva, but Shiva as the supreme reality is bliss and auspiciousness and the all-pervading supreme Brahman. It is called Shiva. Now the real meaning of the word Shivam, Om Namah Shivaya, is Shivoham. When Adi Shankaracharya wrote Nirvana Shataka, he sings in the end, Chidananda Rupam, Shivoham, Shivoham, which means I am of the nature of bliss and consciousness. Chit is consciousness. Ananda is bliss. Chit Ananda Rupam, that's my form. Shivoham, Shivoham. In the ultimate analysis, my inner core is Shivam, the auspicious, all-pervading supreme reality. Since we don't find it here, we worship it outside. It's by worshipping outside and then turning it inside that we discover the Shivam in us. This is Om Namah Shivaya. And the Brahman described by Om is described also as Shivam. So then why Namah Shivaya? Now Namo, Namah means I bow down. I put my head down. I surrender. I bow down to that supreme Shivam, which is the all-pervading reality. That's why it's called Namah, Namo. In fact, even the word Namas is not an Arabic word. In Arabic, it's called Salat, worship. In Persian language, which is so akin to the Aryan Sanskrit, namas. Namas is derived from Namah, Namo. I bow down. That's why they bow down many times. So, Namah, Om, Namah Shivaya. Om is the pranava. Before every mantra, Om is chanted, because that Om takes the mantra to different levels, from the waking to the dream, to the deep sleep, to the higher level, which is called Turiya. So, Om has to be there before a mantra. There are mantras without Om. I won't discuss that now because it's another subject, Tantra. So, Om. Then Om Namah Shivaya. So I bow down with Om, touching all the levels of my consciousness. I bow down to that Supreme Being called Shiva. Okay. Now, you must be familiar that there is the Gayatri Mantra. Now the Gayatri Mantra starts with Om. Om Bhur Bhuva Swa. According to the interpretation, Bhu, Bhuva and Swa mean the three levels of existence. Bhu-loka, short form, Bhu, which is considered to be earth, Bhu-loka. Bhuva-loka, the next realm. Swa, Swarga-loka. Please understand, Gayatri is not Om, Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, wrong. Swaha is like Amen. It's not Swaha, it's Swa. Swa means short form of Swarga, heaven. So, look at it, compare it with the Mandukya Upanishad. Bhuloka is the waking state of consciousness. Bhuvaloka is the dream state of consciousness. And it's okay, it's more comfortable for me. Bhuvaloka is the dream state of consciousness. And Swargaloka, is Shushupti, deep sleep, which is the only Swarga we know, at least. Complete in Swarga, in heaven. So, Om, the Gayatri Mantra begins with Om, may the sound of Om penetrate all the three realms of consciousness. And that's what? Tat Savittarvarenyam. I go down to that controller of the universe who is beyond the three states. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. I worship that effulgent deity. Bhargo is effulgent. Devasya is the deity. Dhimahi, I meditate upon. The word dhyana, the root is dhi. I meditate upon. Yo yona prachodayat. May my understanding be stimulated or awakened. When that is awakened, then I am in the Turiya state. So this sound of Om here applies to this world. That's why they say, please chant Gayatri in the morning, you'll have a good time. It applies to the state, it applies to dream state, you'll get good dreams. Instead of being chased by monsters, you'll be walking with the sheep. And Om applies to Swarga, the deep sleep. May it affect all the three states and finally touch that which is beyond. Tat Savittarvarenyam, that Savittar. Tat is actually that. Just added H. That's the root of that. So Tat Savittarvarenyam, I go down to that Savittar, who is the Supreme Consciousness, the controller of the universe. Good news? That spark is in all of us. We don't have to seek far and wide, it's right here. So, therefore, the Upanishads declared, I am Atma Brahma. My Atman is the Supreme. Now that's not to say that I am the greatest fellow. It simply means that deep down in the core of our consciousness is a spark of the divine in everyone. Turn in and touch and be free. I mean, this is Namah Shivaya. Namo Om Namah Shivaya. I bow down to that Supreme Shiva who touches all the levels of consciousness from waking state to the dream state and beyond it to Turiya, to that Shivam I bow down to. May it be illumined and awakened in my heart. This is the prayer of Om Namah Shivaya. But then there is always the question, why Namah Shivaya, 5 letters only? Na, Ma, Shi, Va, Ya. This is called the Shiva Panchakshar. A great deal has been written in the Agamas and the Shaivite teachings of the South Indian Siddhas on Namah Shivaya, which is the 5 letters. They call it the Shiva Panchakshara. And it's very dear to the South Indian Siddha lineage. That's because even in the practical training which is given in meditation, these letters are used fixed to certain centers in the human system for meditating upon. The usual procedure is to say Namah here and then Shivaya. So Om Namah Shivaya, Na, Ma, Shi and Vaya. These letters have a certain effect on the inner centers of our psychic anatomy. I am deliberately trying not to use the word chakra because it has become so common. The TT in a train said, I can see your chakras. I said, no, this is dangerous. So I am using a word. The centers in our psyche, which start from the Mooladhara and go to the Sahasrara, which has, as the mind or the consciousness ascends from one level to another, then the human mind grows and expands till it begins to access the multi-dimensional, all-pervading Supreme Being. So the Namah Shivaya. So these Panchaksharas, there is a full science to this which we won't go into, where there is a description of how to tap these Aksharas, how to use them, in what variation to use them. There is a beautiful textbook called the Tirumantiram, which is basically in Tamil, Tirumantiram. The Tirumantiram has been luckily translated now into English, as most things are. And it's written by a great sage called Tirumular. It's very interesting, Tirumular. You know, Mular in Tamil means a shepherd. Old Tamil, now I don't know if anybody knows. It's called a shepherd. And Tiru is like Shri. In Tamil Nadu somebody will say Tiruyam. They don't say M actually in Tamil Nadu, many people say Yam. So it's like yum, but so Tiru Mantiram means Shri Mantra, the great mantra. Mantiram is mantra. So in that there is a beautiful description of different variations of Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya, Vaya Namah Shi, Shivaya Namah, and so on. And they are used for various purposes in meditation. So this is, so ultimately, to put it all together as a concluding remark, Om Namah Shivaya is something that is given to us in the form of sound to represent that which is beyond sound. Let's put it that way. Which is also the origin of sound. Now, why is sound so important? Because sound and music, sound of music, is something that cuts across all barriers of language, of anything. You know, even thought. Suppose I say I want to think. We all think in some language. may think in some language, you may think in some language. There is nobody who can think without a language, because the very formulation of thought is caught in a language which we are familiar with in our brains. But sound and music need no language. It's beyond language. Any good music, anybody will listen to. Forget the words and lyrics for the time being. Even if you don't understand the lyrics, or especially if it is pure sound. Each person has their favorite instrument. You don't ask for words, you just want to sit and listen to the sound, because sound goes beyond words and is one of the links to the Supreme Reality. If you put on Beethoven symphony, you don't need words. For me, Krishna plays the flute in Vrindavan. You don't need words. It's the sound of the flute that's important. All you should remember that if the sound of the flute has to come, the flute has to be made of hollow material, bamboo. You can't make sound out of something solid. You need space, So the reason why we generally don't hear this great music that plays all the time in the universe is because there is too much muck in the bamboo. It's filled up with so much muck that there is no place for the sound to come through. If this muck can be taken out, and the chief of all mucks is my ego, be the captain of everything, that can be moved aside a bit, then you can hear the beautiful strains of music, and Om is the essence of that sound. In fact, in our meditation practices, we have different ways of chanting Om to bring about different changes. It's Om, like Brahmari, for instance. You know what's a Brahmari? It's the bumblebee that comes near your window and says, So, just the chanting of the Brahmari, making the sound of Brahmari, itself can take you into your deeper levels of consciousness. So Om is not just a theoretical, metaphysical, mystical sound. It's a practical thing which is applicable to all, if you can practice, if you know what to do. So, and Namah Shivaya is the ultimate essence which you can reach through Om. Now, since I said about the ego, I'm going to conclude now. We don't want Shishupti. I'm sure you are all in Turiya, but this is a story which I love to repeat. It's something about our ego. There's nothing wrong with the ego. You can't live without an ego, I understand. But there are good egos and there are bad egos. So, if somebody says, I'm totally free of ego, don't trust that person. You can't. This is impossible. Everybody has an ego. But then, to keep the ego under control, to make it as clean and refined as possible, to be good and not be always thinking of yourself. That ego, when it becomes purified, in the ultimate essence, when it surrenders, even that is wiped out. But you can't do anything about it. Because the moment I say, I'm going, then I'm there again. You see? So anyway, I like this story because Christine must have listened to it so many times in the United States. But anyway, please bear with me. It's my favorite story because once upon a time, it seems. Now this story was told to me by a sadhu, by a sannyasin of the Lingayat order. In Karnataka there are the Lingayats, who followers of Basaveshwara. They call the Lingayats. This man heads one of the big mathas in Karnataka. We had gone and stayed there at night during the Padayatra. So I was conducting a satsang for the people who were walking with us. And Sharad, you said 6,000 kilometers, it is 7,000 kilometers. Anyway, so we were staying at the ashram. So I was having a satsang with our walkers. So the Swamiji came and said, he's much older than me, like a saffron robe monk. So he came to me and he said, I also want to attend the satsang. I said, Swamiji, but this is for the walkers. He said, I'm also a walker. I said, okay, please sit down. So I got a chair for him and sat down. And so after the satsang, he said, can I say something? I said, surely, if you want to speak, you can say. No, he said, I just have a little story. In Kannada, or I said, don't say Kannada because Swamiji, many people, there's people are from different states. So English is okay, English, he said. Actually, he's a very well-educated man. He has a doctorate in comparative religion from Vienna. So anyway, he sat down and he started talking. And he said, this story is very interesting. The other day I met him and I said, your story has gone over the world. He said, apparently there was a great sculptor, sculptor, one who makes sculptures, a sculptor, an artist, who was summoned to a temple to make an image in one of the new temples of a god. So the priest, who was supposed to know astrology or whatever, I don't go into that, but anyway, so he told him, look, in 3 months you're going to die. So this man said, no, this is very funny. You said 3 months I'm going to die. You're the priest, so you're supposed to have the hotline with God. You have to tell me how to get out of it. I mean, what is the point of saying you're going to die in 3 months? If I'm going to die, I'm going to die anyway. Tell me how to get out of this. He said, now there is a plan. You're such a good sculptor. Right? You go back to your workshop. There's still 3 months, right, to your workshop. You make 2 or 3 images of yourself. Okay? And they will look so much like you because I know you make such lifelike images. So go make 3, 4. And then when the time comes, when the Lord of Death, Yama, sends his dutas, messengers to bring you, the usual story is that Yama sends his messengers to take the soul at the time of death. So when they come, he said, they are a little weak in the head because they come on buffaloes and so on. So you don't have to worry. You just go stand in the middle of 2 or 3 statues which you have made of yourself and just stay there. That's it. So he said, okay. So the time came and the Yamadutas, the messengers of death came. This guy made his images and stood there. They couldn't find out which is duplicate and which is original. So they looked around and they said, now what to do? Everything looks the same, 5 fellows. So then the muhurta was over, the time was over. Now you can't take the soul after that. So they went back. This guy he escaped. So they went and told Yamadeva, sir, this is what has happened. Boss. So boss said, okay, don't worry. Another 3 months, his time is coming again. Unlucky guy. So it's coming again. So before you go, you come to me. I'm going to give you a mantra. Okay? I'll whisper it into your ears. Just take that and you'll be able to bring it. They said, okay. So the priest again informed this guy, 3 months again it's coming. This is your last chance. So this guy said, now what to do? He said, nothing. Just do the same thing. They're already there. You don't have to make. Just go and stand there. He said, okay. Now before the Yamadutas left, they went to the boss and said to Yama, what to do? He whispered something. Oh, said, okay. So they came. And they said, they started by saying, so beautiful, so real. They look like real. Can't make out which is original and which is... They went 10 minutes in advance because the muhurtam is... We can't make out which is original, which is duplicate. Oh my God, look at the skin. It looks so much like human skin, real human skin. And the eyes and the hair. And you almost feel the breath. It's so real. This guy for 5 minutes, he controlled himself. When they said the breath, he said, you know who made it? I did it. I said, come, let's go. So if that is under control, the story is you can even beat death. Because usually death is of the ego, not so much of the body. If I have a big ego and somebody says, you're a bloody fool, finished, I'm dead. Really, seriously, if I don't attack the other guy. So, Om Namah Shivaya. It's 8:30 to be almost now. So what shall we do? Anybody has a question or two? Don't ask too many questions because it's already 8:30 and I need to go to the canteen and have a dosa. Very clear. I'm a human being.
Can you please give a demo of that Brahmari Om?
Now, the Brahmari, I'm sure some of you might be knowing what a Brahmari is. It's actually part of yoga. Normally nowadays in Bollywood, in Hollywood, yoga is only for having good shapes. But yoga is not just asanas, it's much more than that. Yoga, actually, according to Patanjali, who is the founder, one day I went to Wisconsin. They had Ashtanga Yoga circle practicing yoga. Ashtanga Yoga, who popularized it? Anybody? V.K. Iyengar. So there was this circle doing yoga and I just like that asked them. The talk was on yoga. So I asked them, anybody knows who's the founder of Ashtanga Yoga? They said, yeah, we all know who. V.K. Iyengar. I said, great. V.K. Iyengar is a good teacher of Ashtanga. I thought Patanjali might be upset. So Patanjali, the founder of yoga, the essence of yoga is found in the Ashtanga Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. It's called Ashtanga because it has 8 angas, 8 parts, angas, branches. Anyway, we'll have a separate session on Ashtanga Yoga. But in Ashtanga Yoga, it's called Ashtanga because it has 8 angas. So it starts with yama, niyama, rules and regulations. Then asana, pranayama, pratyahara. We won't go into this, it will take a whole day. Pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Samadhi is the highest state of turiya. So, in pranayam, when you combine mantra japa and pranayam together, then you come across something called the Brahmari. Now, as I said, the word Brahmari in Sanskrit means a bumblebee. So what is the last sound of Om? Yeah. So Brahmari basically, I think anybody can try it. You have your checkbook ready? I thought people would be put off by it. Anyway, so Brahmari is to sit down quietly, do a little bit of asanas, keep your body working, and then close your eyes, sit in a comfortable posture, and then while you breathe in, inhale, and when you breathe out, instead of just breathing out like that, breathe out with the sound of the last syllable of Om, which is Om. For the next, you have to again breathe in. Allow the sound to vibrate in your head. You can do that. Change your tone a little bit, pitch and tone, so that you actually feel it vibrating here. And keep repeating this. This is called the Brahmari. And when you do it for a few times, first of all, you'll feel very relaxed. And this is something, I know there's a neurologist here. He's been working already on pranayam for, what did you say? I don't see him. What are you working on, doctor? Parkinson's. So now Brahmari well, you can apply to Parkinson's, but you can apply also to those who don't have Parkinson's but can have, so, as a preventive. So, and also to settle your mind and become calm and absorbed in meditation, because it's always accompanied by a certain blissful feeling inside. So what you do is close your eyes and do the sound. Now, traditionally, we do it in two other ways, which is to shut your ears while doing Brahmari. So, now there are many ways of doing it this way, but the easiest is to push this protrusion into your ear with your thumb and hold your hands up and then do. Then you can actually completely hear it inside vibrating, and your whole system begins to move inside. That's one way of doing it. The other is put your fingers near the nose like this and do. You first start feeling vibrations here, and then slowly they spread to other parts of the body. This is Bhakti. Thank you. I think we should now thank you very much. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you for listening quietly to